Good afternoon. Ian Saw, Chairman of TFGA, coming to you this week from Townsville. Family long weekend, 27 degrees, so it's terrific. This week, a lot's been happening. Budget estimates was the main ticket item, which brought many of our issues to the fore, but nothing particularly exciting out of it. I just want to talk about wildlife. That got quite a bit of airplay during the week, and it's, of course, wildlife's got a huge impact upon the farmers in Tasmania. Many of you may not know, but TFGA did a very extensive survey about 2 or 3 years ago, and the deer, which everyone talks about, actually came number 6 on the list behind wallabies, possums, Bennett's wallabies, Rufus wallabies, cockatoos, feral cats, and then came along deer. And all of these animals have a huge impact on farmers, whether it's crops, pastures, farm forestry, or the environment. So that's where deer come onto that. The deer issue, of course, is now managed by the Tasmanian Wild Fallow Deer Implementation Strategy, and that's been put in place, and TFGA certainly support all of that. We also support the crop protection permits. That allows farmers to shoot or poison or vet or control the animals that are on their land. But I just have to reiterate that, of course, the farmers are bearing this cost, and it is an enormous cost, browsing animals on all of the pastures, forestry, or the crops. They also do some damage to infrastructure as well. So that's all of that with the wildlife. It's getting a lot of airplay, and so it should. Can I also say that Bonnie Keller, Policy Officer at TFGA, is leading the charge with the negotiating committees, and peas have already started. Potatoes will be starting soon. Can I just say and shout out a very, very warm thank you to all of those TFGA members and to Bonnie who work on those negotiating committees to make sure that you, the members, and indeed the non-members by default, get good prices. If it wasn't for these negotiating committees, we would be a long way behind the 8 ball without these guys. So very, very thank you. There's been a little bit of talk about water in the last week, and the water that was spoken about as cheap water is not TI water. They were talking about the licences which allow farmers to take water out of streams or creeks. Normally during the winter time, it's an offtake from those creeks and streams. Now the farmers have to provide all the infrastructure, all the money, all the pipes, all the dams to do that, to put that in there. Also with education, also we know that with irrigation there is an enormous public benefit, so it's not all private benefit. So I just wanted to make that clear on that. Anyway, it's 27 degrees. I'm going to go for a swim. Till next week, take care.